Hi and welcome, Joe here over at woollycottage.com, and it is blending again for the Patreon members. So a couple of you asked me if I could show a demonstration of how you can get mini art bats or mini bats off a blending board. And honestly, it's as simple as blending as you would do and then lifting it off. You don't want to use your dowels or anything like that, but maybe you're just a bit nervous about taking it off without doing any of the drafting, because really if you're drafting, you're just going to make yourself a gigantic roll-log that you can spin from. But by using your dowels or drumsticks or whatever it is that you use, or even chunky knitting needles, the temptation is there to actually draft down the board. And I did that earlier on with this one, and it makes it a little bit flighty. You don't want to do that. You want it to hold its structure, because if you were using a drum carder, you don't draft to take a bat off your drum carder. You just literally take it off. All the drafting's been done for you while you're pulling it down. So I've made this little mini one, okay, and in this there is I'll show you in a second, because I've got to obviously demonstrate how I do these. There's the little Rolags version of it, and it's the exact same fibres. How sweet is that together? So I've used some leftover rooster. So this is Tussa silk and merino hand dyed. So I'll show you how I do that. And then I've added that with some natural soya and merino, and some merino trilobal, and a little dash of Angelina just for an extra bit of sparkle. And I've gone for the pink tickle, which is more of a peachy sort of colour. It's got a couple of different colours in the Angelina. So I'm going to show you how I did this. But as I say, the way that I do it, I like to make sure that when I've got my bat, because you might want to prep it, and if you draft out the bat like you would do if you were doing Rolags, it's just going to fall apart and you're not going to be able to get structure in your pull-offs. Okay, so you literally want to blend it as you would do, and then literally just lift it off. The temptation will be there for you to draft, but you really don't want to do that. So we'll go and put this away. I've got another one to do as well in a different colourway. And again, I'll be doing 2 packs of these. You'll get 6 Rolags in one, and you'll get 2 mini bats in it as well. So you'll get 3 of these in this colour, 3 in the next colour, 1 in that colour and 1 in the others, just so you can have a demonstration pack and make it into 2, so at least it's a little bit fairer and everybody can order. I still have the Rolags from the demonstrations that I've done over the last few months. They're still on the website if you want to grab a hold of one, and there's 2 of each of those as well. So that's what we've got. So I'm just going to put these up here for safekeeping out the way. And bear with me a second and I will pop you down so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to get my roving here, and I'm going to split it into segments, okay, colour segments. So I'm going to rip off the blue here, and then I'm going to split that again because I need some for, because I'm obviously doing a mini bat and a Rolag. So I just want to split that in half. So I've got 1 put there and then 1 over here, and then divide this again down to the reddy orangey bit, split that there, and once again split that in half, put 1 to one side, 1 to the other, and then I've got this orange colour, so I keep going until I get to this duck-egg green. Again, split that in half, and then get down to the duck-egg green, and then I start with the grey, and then again split that in half, and then I've got my grey left over. I want to split that in half as well. Move that out of the way. Right, so I'm going to grab firstly my piece of merino and trilobal. Okay, so I'm going to go down again, beginning, middle, end. Because it's small sections, I try and make sure that I get it all over the board. A little bit there, a little bit there, and then a little bit there. Okay, sorted. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of my Angelina. I'm going to put this on here now. I don't put Angelina on the board to start with, because I find that it tends to stick inside the tines unless I've got some fibre on there already. I'm just going to own a little bit up here as well. Just going to give this a little kiss. That's it. That's all I'm going to put on there. Not a lot of Angelina, just enough so we can see the colours going. So I'm going to get my merino and soya blend, and I'm going to split that in half. I'm going to do my base layer. And I'll just drag that gently with a nice section that's not too overwhelming, and it likes to go down. If you find that your wool's coming out in big long clumps when you're drafting it down your board, just split it in half again and work with a smaller portion. Okay, so I'm going to pack that down. And then I'm going to get, first one, a blue. Now, I'm not putting these in any specific order. They're going on a bit wishy-washy, so I can get that multicoloured effect. So I'm literally just pulling it down. I've pre-drafted it and opened up the fibres, but it's a really lovely roving that I don't really have to work with it too much to prepare it to blend with. Right, there we go. So there is the blue, and then I go in with the orange, because I always think blue and orange look really great together, so I'm going with that next. Now, if you feel like your fibre is a bit compacted, either steam it open, as I've shown you on the Q&A back in September with your little steam kettle, and or if it's really soft and it just needs a bit of teasing, then gently pull it out and widen it so that the fibres will draft out properly. So when I'm going down, I look for little patches on my blending board that are a bit bare. So I'm going to go in with my brush first and just pack those down, because I've got to put the next colours on. So this is what I call the wishy-washy technique. There's no formula. I'm just trying to make sure and keep an eye on the colours that I'm actually putting together in the layers. So I'm going to go in with this duck egg green next, and I've got a space here that's got no colour in it. There's another bit there, and then I've got to come up here, and I've got up there as well, a little bit further up the top. There we go, and a bit down here and a bit there. I'm just going to take that bit off and put that in there. Now I'm going to go in with my red, because it's quite a bold colour, so I like to use these colours just to hold back the red a bit. Sometimes if you put red in, it just seems to take over. But because we've got all these other colours to help tone it down, it shouldn't really be in your face. All right, there we go. And again, I'm going to pack that down. So there's roughly 25-30 grams ish thereabouts going onto this blending board. And again with the grey next. Put it over the parts where the red didn't go. Pack that down again. This is the last layer going on next. Okay, so again with the leftover merino soya fibre, I'm going to draft that through. And over here, once again draft that down, Well, draft it down, pack it down, sorry. There we go. Now I want to get my dowels, so pop one underneath. Just tuck in my fibres into a bit of a triangle, on a second, into a bit of a triangle down here. Get my other two small dowels. Have one underneath and pull that up, and then tuck that under and just lift up a little and start to draft down. Right, that'll do for that one. And when I do that, I try and make sure that my fibres aren't completely touching the bottom of the tine, so it's easy to put my dowels underneath when I'm finished, or when I go to start again. So there you go. There is this lovely rooster rainbow effect. And that, roll up gently. There's oranges and reds and greys and teal, well, duckhead green, and then that blue. That's really, really pretty. And because it's such bold colours, adding in the undyed yarn, or the undyed fibre, sorry, from the wool and the soya bean, just for example, that's really calmed those colours down so they don't look so in your face, especially if you're not one for bold colours. It's really softened them down and given them a completely different look. So I'm just going to put this over here so it doesn't get damaged. Just tuck in my sides. Push that over that way. And when I put my dowels on, I always see this is the first one, so it's over here, but these two protrude outwards. It just, I feel it makes my life a little bit easier when I'm actually on taking the dowels out from the Rolag. So let's draft a bit more. There we go. There we are. There's the second one. It's got a tiny hint of sparkle in there, but not too much that it looks sort of obnoxious. And again, how cute is that? Very autumnal. Properly suits this time of year. And just tease up these fibres that haven't quite gone into the tines yet, but are ready. If you want 1 minute longer and a touch, and they'll be stuck in there. Well, we've got a bit of fibre here. I'm going to just lay that on top of there because it's stuck in the tines down below. Tuck in my sides so I catch them as well and don't get left with big clumps. And then flip that over. And again, just start to draft out. Roll a little, draft down. Oh. Keep going, just lift that last bit up and turn at the same time as I'm drafting down, so I don't end up, hopefully, with lots of fluffy bits that your Rolag will work just the same as anybody else's, but when it comes to presentation, it doesn't look as neat and tidy as the other two. It's just the way it happens. Anyway, so because I've got different lengths on my dowels, it means that I've got a bit of grip down here to push that shorter one all the way up. And if you've not done your Rolag too tight, it just helps you a little. If you do feel like you've rolled it a bit too tight and you can't budge that shorter dowel, just wedge the dowel on the edge of your table, your work surface, and just give it a gentle shove and it will pop up then. There we go. So there's your third one. Okay, so now we're going to do the mini bat, and it's going to be done in the exact same way. So again, grab my Merino Glitzy Trilobal blend. There we go. Get my Angelina. But I'm going to save the Angelina. This is how much I'm going to use. I'm going to put it to one side a second because I'm firstly going to just go straight in with this. Because I'm doing it as a bat, I don't want the Angelina to be left behind on the board. So because it's not a very thick layer and I'm not drafting the fibres this time, then I feel like the Angelina will just stick in between the tines with the static from them. So I'm just going to give it an extra layer here. So this is the same, essentially the same method as what you're doing when you're using a drum carder. If you haven't got one at home, this is it. The drum carder, the tines are grabbing onto the fibres. As the drum carder rolls it through, it drags and pulls them and drafts them at the same time. If it's done properly, you don't put them on too thickly. Exactly the same method as when you're using a blending board. So imagine that's the packing brush at the back of it, and it's making sure that all these fibres are all packed well in between the tines so you can add different layers as you go along. Okay, so now I'm going to put on my Angelina because there's a bit more fibre there to stop it from sticking with static in between the tines. There we go, that's that. Now, go in with, again, I'm going to open up these fibres just a little bit, make my life a little bit easier, and start drafting them. See, you're drafting the fibre down the needles, or down the tines. So it's exactly the same method as what I'm doing if I'm using the drum carder. There we go. And this is why I say, when you go to make your mini bat, you don't want to really draft it. You can literally just lift it off very gently, or you can use your dowels, but don't draft, just turn it up. I'll show you in a second. So again, back to the orange. Find some spots. I'm going to take this piece off because it's quite thick, and I'm going to put it back in with my little bundle. There we go, and then draft that out properly. There we are. Okay, so that one's done. So I'm going to pack these two colours down. Right, so we went with the tealy colour next. Okay, then we're going with the red next. So I'm going in the gaps here in between what I've just put down with the tealy colour. And then in here. It's just to make sure that you're getting a really even layering as well if you put them in between the colours that you've just put down to start with. All right, there we go. And then last bit of colour is the grey again. So if I can find any white spots here, can you see that there? In sections that are a little bit lighter, then I will be going in those ones with my grey, just to fill in the blanks. And then I know that it's been evenly distributed with the fibre content, so it's not all one overweighed on one side. Right, again, down. And then get my little wedge of merino. So as I say, if you find that when you're working with wools, you feel like it's all coming on one clump, I would just give yourself a smaller section if you find that easier, or if it's catching on the tines as you're dragging it down, just give yourself a smaller section to work with. There we go. Also, just like when you're spinning, because of the staple length in the wool here, if I'm got my hand up here and I've got a hold of it and I'm drafting it down, it's not going to go anywhere. So I want to put my hand down as far as possible so that the fibres can all start moving out. There we go. That's that. That's all you need to do. Now, essentially, you can literally just pull this straight off now. If you're a little bit anxious about doing that, get your dowels. Now, you are not drafting this. All you're doing is rolling up so you can get the fibres off the tyne. Oh, there's a piece of thread there. You are literally just doing that. That's all you're doing. You'll be tempted to pull down and draft as well, but don't do that at all. Just lift it all the way up until it pops off. Put that to one side. I'll move that out the way. Okay, and now you're going to open it up, or you're going to very gingerly open it up. And there you have one mini bat. Okay. For me, I always fold over my fibres. I'm going to just put it that way a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Fold it over that way. And then fold it over that way. And then roll it up until you're ready to work with it. It's all neat and tidy. Stick it in a little box so it doesn't get all ruined and floppy. And there you have one little mini bat, and that's about 27 grams or something like that there. Okay, if it's great if you've got a smaller, if all you've got for a tool is your actual blending board. Okay, you can make them. You just have to remind yourself, blend it the exact same way as what you're doing with your Rolags. But when you go to make a bat, you do not want to draft. Just use your dowels or your knitting needles or whatever it is that you use for working with your blending board. Just use those to roll it, to lift it off the tines without all your fibres getting stuck. Okay. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is a merino with gold Angelina. It's got different shades of yellow, this like grass meadow straw yellow. It's really, really pretty. I'll show you in a second. But I'm blending it with Natural Tissue Silk, that merino trilobal again, gold Angelina, and the merino soya, because I've got quite a bit of it. And I thought, well, I might as well use it. Oh, so I'm trying to get, there we go. So this is a hand-dyed merino roving. So this is what we're working with. The merino soya, and I did the mini bat as well in this one. So there you go, you've got the mini bat. Now the difference with the mini bat, you can see the colours in there, but it's not been drafted, so they're a bit more bolder and a bit more but then at the same time they've not been drafted, so you can't see the blending of it until you start to work with it. So there's a slight difference, but you can tell that they are a pair. So again, you'll get one of these with the other colour that we did, and you'll get 6 of these in each pack. Anyway, we'll figure it out. I'll get them in there, but they'll be on the website on Sunday. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 of them. 3 Rolags of each colour, so 6 Rolags altogether, and 2 mini bats in each pack, and there'll be 2 packs available. So I'm just going to quickly roll these up because I've just done these so I can show you what they look like. Because there's no point in me doing all of it all in one go, because it can be boring and the video will be forever long. So there we go. So 3, you'll get 3 yellow with the gold Angelina and the Tissue Silk, and you'll get 3 of the other one plus 1 of each colour of the mini bats. So you've got a demonstration pack for yourself so you can see what it looks like if you want to work with that at home. Okay, so I'll pop you down, you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to just do the quick prep for the wool and fibre now before I get going. Okay, so I'm going to get my roving, and I'm going to split the colour sections, 1, 2, and then split them again in half, because I've still got a bat and I've got the Rolags to do. So put 1 here, split this lemony colour, and then this one here, which has got the hint of white on it, hint of soft cloud grey. So that's those. Then Trilobal Merino blend, natural twisted silk that's not been dyed, and then my portion of merino and soya fibre. So once again, like the other one, very similar blending method. So I'm going to put my Trilobal merino blend, and this has got the Trilobal, and this is multicolored, so you get like this effervescent sort of look off of it. There we go. So that goes on there straight away. This time I'm going to put on my merino soya fibre before I put my Angelina on. And then I'm going to pack that down. Then I'm going to get my Angelina, a nice wedge of it, and then I'm going to try and not have clumps of it. Really hard to distribute Angelina. It feels like it just wants to do its own thing. So I'm using the non-heat bondable Angelina in this because it doesn't scratch and it's not got a more rigid content to it, like I did on the Q&A, which I think was back in June or August, when I was asked about the different variables between the Angelinas. Why is one soft and floppy and why is one really quite rigid and scratchy when you work with it? So I'm using the non-heat bondable one, and then I'm going to go with my more, so actually no, I need to do my twisted silk next. So a little half of my twisted silk that I've got will go on here now. Save the other half for halfway through my blending. Now I'm going to go in with my Angelina, my hand dyed wool. And again, just a wishy-washy technique. Just make sure my gaps are filled in and stuff like that. Same method as I did last time. And then I'm going to split this a bit, and I'm going to open up a little because it's been sat on the shelf for a while, so it's a bit rigid. Go in with these gaps here, and there's another gap there, and it's more of a golden orange, this one, sunflower yellow. And then I'm going to go in with this lighter cloudy grey into soft yellow into my gaps, and then I'm going to card this down. There we go. Now I'm going to get the last of my twisted silk, and I'm going to put that on here as well. You want to try and avoid having any sort of clumps of this, because there's nothing worse when you're spinning with it and you come out with a massive long section of the stuff. You want it to be evenly distributed. So I try and make sure when I'm putting it on there, it's actually got quite a decent staple on the length of it. So I always make sure that I'm holding it at the tip so it drafts out easier. And again, go back in with my wools. And then I've got a bit of this left over. I'm just going to open up that fibre. There. Go into the sections where it looks as though it's a bit naked. pack that down. Get the last of my merino soya blend fibre. Right, that's that done. So this one's going to be the Rolags first, like we did the last time. So again, pulling my corners to make this little triangle. Okay, just so I catch the edges. Make sure I've got my long needle on here, and these ones are a little bit short on the other side, and you can see where the length stops there. Right, start this off, give it a little bit of a twist and start to pull up to draft. That'll do for that one. Just give it a gentle tidy up with your hands. You're not putting any pressure on this at all. You're just using your hands to butter off the fibres so they all sit aligned with each other and it looks a bit cleaner and tidier. Okay, and again, pinch on your edges so you trap them all, and again flip it over, lift it up a little and then start to draft down. Same time you want to roll over your dowels so you don't end up with thicker sections. And there we go, lift that up and then you can get underneath there. I literally just, can you see there's a gap in my hand? I'm not making any tightness on here. If you do squeeze it, you will end up moving the fibres so they will turn around on your dowel and end up a little bit tight. And again, last piece. You don't want to put any pressure on that when you're finishing the Rolag after it's come off. There we go. And like I said, I've got these shorter ends. If you find it difficult and you can't get the Rolag out, just literally push down and it gives you a good length to pull out if you find that you've done it too tight. Okay, so we have 3 Rolags with Tissue Silk, Merino, Soya Bean and Angelina and Trilobal. It's lovely that, isn't it? Right, roll these up, go put these aside so they're ready to go in their bags, and then we'll get the back done. And one more. There we go. Okay, same method again. Get your Trilobal, plunk it down along the edges, then in between those gaps, and then whatever you've got left off, fill in the bigger gaps, and then a bit over here, and then you're evenly distributed. And I'm just going to quickly pack this down. Okay, then I'm going to go in with a section of my merino again with the soybean fibre and run that all the way down. pat that at the top and then draft it down so it goes from top to bottom. And again, pack that down. Get the gold Angelina. Get a nice clump. That's that done. And then add that all over my blending board. Pack that in so it doesn't start to fly off everywhere. Tissue silk next. Right, that's that done. Save some of my tissue silk for after, and then go in with my softer shade of yellow. There we go. I'm going to pack that down. And in with this one, just a little. Save some of this. Get me gold, darker honey yellow sort of colour, really quite bold in comparison to the first layer, and put that on there. And just look for your bold spots, the bits where the tines seem to poke through a little bit more, and add that to that. So again, pack that down. Get my last of my tissue silk. Always remembering that I'm trying to make sure it's evenly distributed and that I haven't got lots of clumps of it in one area that's going to all want to come out in one go. Again, it's time with the grey. Now the yellow. Pack those down, and then we've got the last one, which is the merino soya fibre. And I'm going to split that into more manageable sections. And again, pack that down. Get my dowels, so one underneath, tuck in my ends just a little bit, but remember you are not drafting, you're rolling. So just get your dowels tucked underneath, and then ever so carefully make sure it's picking up all the fibres that are on your board. There we go, there's another piece there. And then just roll all the way up. I'm going to lift that and move that out of my way. and then ever so carefully there is my bat. Just whiz that around so I get my fluffy end, and I put that over here like that, and then I get my tidy end and just fold that over there like that. And there you go. Again, one mini bat to pair up with the yellow Rolags. So I hope you found that useful, getting these little mini bats and the Rolag sets. Here's the bat that we did earlier on. And these in a pack will actually work together because you've got the oranges and reds in there as well. So you could quite easily work together with those as a project. So I know that you're probably thinking that, well, why would I want to buy your packs when they're mixed and I've not got a lot on them? You're talking at least 115 grams of each, so enough to make a little project up, or even to just spin off some sample skeins, especially if you want to try different spinning techniques or whatever. That's what they're really handy for. And plus you're supporting a wool dyer and fibre artist by buying her products, because you're keeping me afloat and keep me in business. So that's another reason. And the other reason is as well that if I just do one pack of the yellow, then that's all there is. There isn't anything else. Then one pack of the sort of the evening rooster one. I would rather put them both together, so there's two available. So whoever wants to order, and there's the option there, or the chance there for you to have a go at both of them. Same when I've done the big blends with the mohair and the baby Angora and all the rest of it, and I've put them both together in the same packs. It's just to give you a look. You can spin it up, see what it looks like, have a mess around with the type of tension that you might need for spinning up into a yarn, that sort of thing. I think that's quite useful to do that. But yeah, so they're all on the website at the moment. They've not gone anywhere. They're still there. There's 2 packs of everything, and then there will be 2 packs of those as well. So if you like this video, don't forget to put comments down either on Patreon, well, you can on YouTube as well, but on both places, so other people can see your comments as well. Is there any tidbits that you want to give me that you might use when it comes to making mini bats when you're blending with them on the blending board? Is there any other content that you want me to do, or do you want me to just carry on doing these Rolags and art bats? Because I have noticed that the numbers of viewers watching the videos since I started this topic have dropped dramatically. Now, I know you're all really, really busy, and I totally get it. It's this time of the year. I haven't stopped for a minute. This video should have gone up on Patreon last Monday. It's taken me until Wednesday to get it done, because I've been doing my Christmas advents and getting them wrapped up and everything else, and it's just been everything, and I've been, family dramas. So yeah, I totally understand that you're busy. You're paying for the membership, and I'm always a little bit myself like, oh, they're paying for this, for me to do this content for you guys exclusively, but you're not able to watch it, though the videos are there anyway. And they're all categorized. I do them bi-monthly, so every video that are going out in September are in the September's box. If you're looking for October's ones, then you'll find them in there, and that's everything from the videos that I do to the Q&A for each month. All those videos in there. So there's generally about 5 videos per month on there. So yeah, I really appreciate it. And the Q&A, I couldn't do a Q&A for this weekend because I've had no one put any questions down on the Q&A for September. For November, and I can't produce a video if you guys don't help and interact with me in the community. Again, I know you're really busy, but it just means that I can't produce that extra video for you this month unless you do the Q&A. And just pop questions down, any ideas, questions at me, anything. What you're doing for Christmas, that sort of thing. A bit of a chit chat. It's the reason why we're here. And I really want to help you. So if there's anything that you're not sure about, and if I'm not sure about, I had a question thrown at me the other day there about spinning and the different types of spinning techniques. I'm like, well, I'm not a technical spinner, but that doesn't mean that I can't maybe come up and do a spinning video or something like that in part of a Q&A. That's what it's there for. It's for you guys to ask me questions so I can maybe come up with a new video, not just a Q&A. Just to curiosity killed the cat and me have a go myself. So there we go. Anyway, take care of yourselves. I will see you in a couple of weeks' time. Hopefully I can get some Q&A questions done, and then next weekend or next week I will be able to produce a Q&A video, but that all depends on everybody else's participation. If not, it will be a Rolags and bat video again. So take care of yourselves. Speak to you soon. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up on the YouTube, on the linked video that you'll be watching now. I really appreciate everybody supporting me over here on the Patreon platform, and I'll catch you soon. Bye for now.